digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Tottenham, Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yes, guys, and welcome to THFC Till I Die, home top past, present, and the exciting future, of course, under Thomas Frank, as we look forward to tomorrow night's game against away to Newcastle in the fourth round or the third round of the League Cup. And yes, there is many League Cup games off tonight, so I will keep you abreast as long as I'm on of the latest scores tonight. How are we all doing? Are we all looking forward to tomorrow night? And I thought I'd do tonight's stream. I just thought I'd just do it on general football chat tonight. Have a little bit look at the Spurs news, what's around, what transfer rumours are around as well. And also just to have my thoughts on the Celtic stuff as well, what's happening north of the border. Because as you well know, I'm not just a Spurs fan, I am a Celtic fan as well. Always have been, always will be. So, I'm very interested in what's happening up there. Tonight, we'll just give you a bit of a League Cup or what's happening in the League Cup here in the third round. Let me get it on the other monitor so it looks a bit better. I can see fully what's happening then. And I am not too well of doing that. We've got Grimsby Town against Brentford, which is 0-0. Wickham are 1-0 against Premier League Fulham at the moment after 18 minutes. And of course, 3 minutes gone in the 8 o'clock kickoff. Wrexham 0, Cardiff City 0. Then in League One, it is Bradford City 0, Lincoln City 0, and then Mansfield Town 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. I think that's the only game to play today. No, in League Two, Accrington Stanley are 1-0 up against Tranmere, and then in the Women's Nations League, Albania draw 1-3-0 against Cyprus. Austrian women won 2-0 against Czechs. Denmark women beat Finland women 2-0. Turkey women won Kosovo. The Turkish women won 3-0, winning 7-0 over an aggregate. And also 30 minutes, the girls in green are 0-0 so far away to Belgium, but they are 4-2 up on aggregate. But I hope we all are doing well this evening, guys. Yes, I wasn't going to do a stream tonight. I was going to have night off. And I thought, do you know what? I haven't done one of these sort of new beats and sort of going over to Tottenham. Oh, why don't you come on and join me and talking about Turkish women? We can have a conversation for the next 45 minutes on that if you want. Oh, yeah, we do want you, Tequila. There's nobody in there. I tell you one thing, come on, because then the people will come in. They don't want to see me. They want to see you. They want to see you. So do come in. He says, love all women. Yeah, I have to be careful how I say that, but yeah, I do too. I want to say also big up to Big D as well, who became a new member earlier on in the early time show. Please get over and watch that when I did my predicted lineup. I'm gonna slightly change to how I do that show. So do join me for that on Friday for the pre-game thoughts. Predicted lineup. I went over everything, especially wife. Who's wife? Who's with us? Am I missing something here, you two? Is there something going on between the both of you that I don't know about? Anyway, Tequila's going to have to catch me up on that one. So do you, Colin, as well. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can do it solo. That's not a problem. Well, let's get into it anyway, guys. And yes, Spurs news. Luca explains why he rejected Manchester City. I don't know what you two. I don't know what you two are actually on about. You two are going to have to. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ignore the chat from now on. I think Tottenham were perfect because they presented the great project. Lucas told Sport Club Manchester City has many young players. I don't want to be just a number at Tottenham. They present me as one of the top projects, and that really meant a lot to me at that moment. That was the deciding factor, and I think it's a good choice as well because he will come into the side. He's doing very well out on loan at the moment, and I feel he will be next season. He will be coming in. He will be within the squad next year. No doubt about that. We're moving on to Spurs are open to a Solanke sale. Now, this was read in, I think, Football Insider, also the boot room as well, that Spurs Tottenham boss Thomas Frank is not impressed with Dominic Solanke, 28. I don't know how is he not impressed because you haven't seen him on the pitch because he hasn't been there long enough actually to see him play. I think he only played once, and I think that was enough for him. I take it. Look to sell. Google search Persona 3 and look for. Hang on, sorry, I've got to read this. Sorry. Google search Persona 3 and look for a redhead. It's so kind of thing. Yeah, I've never played Persona 3, so I've not got a clue, but I will do after the stream. Promise I will. Tottenham boss not impressed. Look, I get it. He's not impressed with Solanke. Said me and Tequila when he first came to Tottenham, we were very sort of underwhelmed by the signing, but everyone told us he's going to be the striker. Lads. Don't worry, he's going to be the striker, and he hasn't been that striker, has he? Yes, he's worked hard off the ball. Yes, he's worked hard when it comes deep. And am I being joined by my esteemed wifers or whiffers, wherever that means? You're going to have to coach me in this one, Tequila. You really do.
It's called waifus, mate. I'm not coaching you on waifus. You know, I got into trouble. I did that. Don't tell your missus about waifus either. Just don't. Don't ask her about waifus.
Good job she's asleep tonight. I'm going to have to Google search it later. Solanke, Tequila. Are you surprised, Thomas? I mean, this is in Football Insider, in the boot room as well, that, you know, Thomas Frank has not been impressed with him. Can you understand why?
First thing, Dermo, you're getting a little bit of feedback, mate, ever since you got your new mic. So is there something that's not quite right with it? Don't ask me. I'm not a technician, but there's feedback coming through now and again. We can still hear you. I'm just letting you know that there is, you know, like mobile phones sometimes have that crackling noise. I'm trying to describe it. That's what's happening now and again. So just let you know about your mic. There's something not quite. Ever since you got your new mic, there's something not quite right with it. I don't know what it is, mate, but just to let you know.
How's that?
I've lost my train of thought. It's not all the time though, mate. It's just now and again. So I have to wait and see if you fixed it or not. It's not like I say, it's not all the time. It's just now and again. Solanke, yeah, me and you weren't impressed with him really when we got him. I don't think either one of us thought he was the world's worst player or anything like that. It's just we paid. Well, he's English, so we had to pay the English tax. Liverpool had a 20% sell on, I think, so that was another reason for the inflated fee, because obviously Bournemouth wanted to get their fair share and they had to pay Liverpool. I guess they ended up paying them about 15 million. So I'm not surprised. No, you're right. He hasn't seen enough of him. But if I'm frank, though, it's like, well, no, if I'm going to get rid of someone, surely it's going to be the other one. I'm not being funny. What does he see in training, or do you think Dermo he's seen in training which makes me think, oh, I don't know about Solanke, but Richarlison's my man.
Yeah, I don't know what he sees with him in training, to be fair.
I mean, if you're going to get rid of someone, I'd say Richarlison is worth less as well. So
yeah,
maybe that's the maybe. Well, maybe that is maybe answer my own question. Maybe they think if they sell Solanke, they can get. I don't know how much would Solanke go for, Dermo. You wouldn't say he's increased his value. He hasn't increased his value.
We're not going to get that for him.
Not much more. You may get someone maybe 40, but it won't be many more than that. Yeah. Are we going to take a hit on him after what 1.5 seasons? Are we going to take a hit on him?
Well,
with 25 million,
reckons 45 million. We've got 45 million. I would love that. I would take that.
Maybe you might get 45. Yeah.
Big up to Wayne Bonner as well. It says, "Good evening, folks. Hope you're all weak. All week." Don't know what he means by that. I think has he been on the sauce again? Do you think?
Hope you're all weak.
Yeah. Wayne, what you up to? What you up to, man?
I think he's just a bit drunk.
Yeah, I think so. We need to bring in a new decent, and he said that in capital letters, decent striker before we can move Richie and Solanke on. And then he went, "Oh well, for F's sake, damn these bloody thumbs." Okay, it's all right. It's okay. We believe you.
Well. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
Big up to Niall O'Connor as well. Tequila. He probably sees Richie as an option out wide, where Solanke's an out-and-out striker. That's the problem. The only reason why you keep Richie over Solanke. That's a very good point, actually. But if I'm being honest.
Well, okay.
You're stunned by that.
It's just because well, let's say that for whatever reason Frank doesn't like Richie as a striker and likes him as a left winger. Is he better than? I think Odebert's a better left winger than him. I don't think Odebert's amazing, but I think Odebert's a better left winger than Richarlison. So how far down the pecking order is Richarlison to play on that left wing? I'd rate Odebert over him. I'd rate Xavi Simons over him in the left wing. I'd probably even put Johnson there, and that says everything, doesn't it? I'd probably put Johnson over Richarlison on the left wing. Yeah.
Really?
If you ask out of those two, because I think Richarlison is absolute. I don't understand what he does. You see, at least Johnson will get you a goal, right? Richarlison, he's got his goals for the season, guys. If you think he's going to repeat what he did against Burnley, I said at the time, that's the best. That's the best he'll be all season.
You did. You really did. Look, I can't believe you thought you put Brennan Johnson on the. Brennan Johnson is a busted flush.
Yeah, but he's better than Richarlison. This is what I mean. This is how bad I think Richarlison is as a player. I think he offers less than Johnson does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. I get you. Big up to Colin. Colin has said sell Solanke for 40 million and you can go and get Vatovic for 25-ish. Well, we have got something on Vatovic waiting on later on in the news. Hopefully, Colin, hopefully our sources are starting to wake up now from their summer slumber. They can start feeding us information and news. Big up to Neil. Neil says miles down the pecking order, but the only reason why he would sell Solanke over Richie. Wayne goes, Richie declined since he cut out the shithousery. I think that it's not a bad shout, actually. and he said I'd sell Johnson in January as well.
Well,
Where could Johnson go to, Tequila? Where would you think Johnson would fit into? Would he fit into a lower relegation team? Would he fit into a team that's going to finish middle in the Premier League? I don't think he's a top end Premier League player, Johnson. I'm sorry. I think he's a busted flush in my view.
I think I would have made a little joke about Ange, but Celtic, but it looks like Martin O'Neill's going to take over Celtic at least for the
No, he's
season,
only in
probably.
as an interim. He's
Is he only in there for a little while? Is he?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So if Ange say Ange goes back to Celtic, which that'd be a good move for him, believe it or not, because he's
I
really
want
loved
him
up
back
there.
at Celtic. Believe
That's
it or not.
that's probably his level. You might not like that demo, but that's probably where his level is. Then someone like that would be great because obviously Ange liked him, or he wouldn't have bought him from Forest. Cue the arguments if he really bought him or not. We'll never know, will we? If it was his decision or not.
I think
but as
fellas,
probably as for Johnson's level, I mean, I think he was already at his level, which was Forest.
Yeah,
and this was before Forest had their good season last year. So this is when Forest were battling relegation. I think that's kind of where he should be, if I'm honest. Kind of.
Just to give you an update, guys, Brentford are 2-0 up against Grimsby in the first half. Wycombe Wanderers are still 1-0 up against Fulham, and it's 1-0 Cardiff City have taken the lead in the Welsh derby. Cardiff City 1, Wrexham 0. Just out of them scores, Tequila, very quickly before we move on. Any surprises there? Brentford sort of do normally 2-0 up against Grimsby, but Wycombe 1-0 up against Fulham. That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean the Wycombe result is the shock. As for the Grimsby result, well, Colm in the chat doesn't want to be reminded of what Grimsby did because obviously they knocked United out, didn't they? But looks like there's not going to be a quote unquote giant killing tonight. Does that make Brentford better than Man United, Colm? So what you say?
I'm saying nothing. I'm going to say nothing on this. I know what it's like to lose to a lower team. I felt that pain. I don't think you have got.
No, Dermo, what are you talking about, mate? I was watching live when we lost to the Farmers in Murrah. You think I like that?
Oh yeah, you have felt that pain.
I'm never living that down. I'll remember that till my dying day. I'll remember that FC Murrah and the shock of. Do you remember Davison Sanchez getting turned twice by some farmer? His career was, for me, his career was over as a Spurs defender after I saw that.
Do you know what? I remember us losing to Port Vale in the FA Cup in the 80s, like late 80s. I mean, that was embarrassing. Port Vale, like in the third round of the FA Cup. That was woeful. Johnson needs to be the best player in the poor team. He stands out the subpar. Now he's got to. No, because we're top 6. I'll see that. Philip Brady's coming now. What's he done now? He's away on holiday.
I think he's talking about Greenwood. We have been linked to him, and
we're going to talk about that.
Do you want to open that can of worms, there, mate? I'll leave it up to you.
Well,
Greenwood.
We're going to talk about League Cup football first.
Okay.
We're going to build to it. Look, our visits at James's Park on Wednesday, Tequila night, will be our 37th and 4th round tie in League Cup history. We have progressed 27 out of our 36 such matches to date, losing 9. We went on to win the competition from 4 of those 27 victories, lifting the trophy in 1971, 1973, 1999, and 2008. Interestingly, of our last 7 appearances at this stage, we have progressed on 5 occasions, and in each of those campaigns have gone on to reach at least the semi-final. All by one of those last 5 wins has come against Premier League opposition. West Ham in 2018-19, Chelsea in 2021, Burnley 21-22, and Manchester City 24-25. In the visit of the Championship sides, Brighton Hove Albion to White Hart Lane in 2014-15. We have this special appeal to the League Cup, or whatever it's called now, together. But we've always reached, I mean, out of the last 3 years, we've reached the semi-final twice out of the last 3 years. So it's a competition we do very well at. Do you think this is the year for Spurs to lift the League Cup at Wembley?
I wouldn't put as favourites, but I think I can tell you why. I think we've generally done quite well in this competition over the last 20, 25 years. it's because with all due respect, I think it's something we could take seriously. I think, you know,
Yeah.
we kind of know, and, you know, we know we're probably not going to win the league, at least not anytime soon, really. So we can't really compete for that. And then, you know, so you think, well, what, you know, and we know also that a lot of the larger clubs, I would say this trend has changed a little bit, Dermo. I think Liverpool and City have overall have started taking this cup more seriously over the past 5 seasons. But there was a period 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where we would hear it all the time, where the bigger teams would field all their youngsters, wouldn't they? I mean, to be fair, Klopp did it. Actually, I'm saying that Klopp did it in the final a couple of years ago, didn't he? Where he played all the kids. So and won.
No,
So I think they did, yeah. And it was like a lot of like youth players were in the team. I think they won, yeah. I'm
Who
sure they
did
did.
playing? Was it Man United or Man City?
I don't think it was Man United. I can't remember who they played actually. League Cup final a couple of years ago. Who did Liverpool beat when they played loads of youth players and everyone was like saying that Klopp didn't take it seriously, and he's like, "Well, I won, didn't I?"
Well, everyone was praising the kids, I think, that night, weren't they? The Liverpool kids, how well they did.
Yeah.
I
mean, the point
yeah,
is,
I get your point.
The quote unquote the title challenging teams tend to play their kids in it, and during that period of time, we obviously weren't really even thinking about competing for the title, even let alone top 4. Dermo was a lot of those years we were just not in it. So it might have been Chelsea. Yeah, it could have been Chelsea. So we've taken it seriously. We haven't generally fielded weaker squads in the League Cup because it was a viable. It was the most likely cup we can win. And you got to remember, Dermo, that up till last year in the Europa League, it is the only trophy was won in the modern era.
Yeah,
twice.
It is. It is. And look, I think we can, if we can beat Newcastle tomorrow, as Philip Brady calls them, the barcodes. He says barcodes. That's one way to describe Newcastle, I suppose. Geordie, if you are watching, yeah. Anyway, the barcodes will be Thomas Frank's biggest test.
That's actually quite
it's a good nickname for them, actually.
It's got some negative connotations, and Mr. Brady knows exactly what I'm on about. And that nickname, we're okay, Dermo. Don't worry, we're not going to get kicked off YouTube for it, but there is a kind of negative connotation for that name.
I find it quite funny, to be fair.
It's the same reason why Liverpool are called something dippers. I'm not going to say what they're sometimes called because it's a little bit. It's a society thing, so you just But I know what you mean, Philip.
Yeah, big up to Mr. Brady. He's on holiday actually. Well, he's going on holiday. I don't know if he's on the way.
Wish I was on holiday. Good for you, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know where he is at the moment. Let us know where you are, Mr. Brady. Let us know you're in Ireland or you're in America or you're in Italy. Let us know where you're.
You can type it, Con, but I can't say it. There's a difference, man.
Yeah, we can't bring it up either, can we? 100%. But he says he's in Dublin. We were thinking of the exotic areas. Oh dear. Have you not taken off yet? I thought you would have been off and out of the country by now. There we go. We're not saying it. There you go. We said it now.
Oh, look, everyone's got names. We're called certain things as well that I won't say. So it happens everywhere.
He's off to. He said, "Of course you are. You could just what they." I knew this show would be a bit crazy, and that's the idea of it. It's about letting our hair down a little bit. We've been work addict, Tequila, and I thought tonight we can have a bit of fun. Tomorrow, best of luck, Philip. I might give you a bell after the show, so see how you're getting on. Right, what's our record in round 3 of the FA Cup? In each of these 5 years,
FA Cup? You mean League Cup?
League Cup. These are look. If you look at the last 5 times we've actually won our 3rd round tie, we've gone on to reach semi-final, 2 finals, and 3 semi-finals. So it does show we have a bit of consistency in this competition, doesn't it?
I think we take it quite seriously. How do you feel about that, though? Do you feel like we should be?
I like winning a domestic
bigger
trophy.
Do you think we should be looking for bigger prizes, though? Do you think us taking it seriously says, "Oh, we still don't think we're a big club because the League Cup's still our only hope"?
No,
we
totally disagree with that.
But we did used to be that way.
Yeah, totally disagree with that. Look, we're not going to win the league, are we? To be fair,
well, no.
we're not going to win the league as much as I like to. He's on the wind up tonight.
He's enjoying himself. He's calm. He's at work, bored, aren't you, Com?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. To be fair, it is. Um, Look, you. Oh, what was I going to say now? You look at the 24-25 and the 22-20. You look at each of them seasons wherever he reached the final or a semi-final. I want to win the League Cup. I want to win domestic trophies because that shows how well you're doing within your league. If you look who's won the League Cup or the FA Cup over the last 10 years, you can mostly say it's been Man City, Manchester United, Liverpool. Newcastle won it last year, didn't they? Which is the exception. But it's always the top five that have won the major domestic trophies in this country.
every now and again, you get an exception. I mean, Palace won the FA
Yeah.
Cup last year.
Yeah.
We can all remember Wigan. They got relegated when they won that. It was a while ago now. Was it Bradford City? He got to the final one year. Am I getting mixed up with that, guys? Under Paul Gill, I remember it many years ago.
Was it Bradford? No, it wasn't.
They didn't win it, but they did really well in it. Or am I getting? I could be getting mixed. I could be getting mixed up. I could be.
I know Portsmouth won it, didn't they?
Portsmouth won it. Yeah, Portsmouth won it.
Bolton won it.
Yeah.
Bolton won it.
I mean, but more often than not, though, yeah, it's one of the big boys.
FA. If you look at the League Cups, Man City won it 5 years in a row. So over the last sort of 7 years, Newcastle has been one of the non-top five to win it because Man City won it every year or bought it every year, as I like to phrase it. Do you know? And we did get to one of them finals, and we should have won in COVID times, and we should have won that final. But our chairman decided at the time to sack our manager 6 days before the final. Seriously, I mean, what a knobhead.
Thank you, Wayne. I knew that I hadn't
Bradford.
gone completely crazy.
Yeah.
I knew that they got to a final at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really lose 6-0. Wow, I don't remember that.
Wow. It is the smaller competition out of the two domestic cups. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the FA Cup's bigger, but I think to show how well you're doing within your own league, I think you have to win a domestic trophy. And I think Tottenham have far too long not won a domestic trophy. No disrespect to Colin. Manchester United have won them quite recently. They won a League Cup and an FA Cup 1 year after the other. They
still sacked their manager.
They still sacked their manager, yeah. But they've won domestic trophies, which is big things. It was only a joke, Philip. I don't think we were going down that route. So look, yeah, yeah. Everyone else has got a sense of humor, I suppose. Everyone else sees things differently to we all. I
wasn't insulted by what Philip was saying. I was just
no.
that name has. I personally don't mind, but we can't speak for everyone. Is my point.
I know that. But if you look at the last time we reached the final, Tequila, 2014-15, we beat Newcastle 4-0 in Poch's first season, and we won a trophy. So, you know, let's take little crumbs while we can.
Com says that we should be aiming for the FA. Yeah, but every club, most clubs value, and most fans do, rightfully so, like yourself, value the FA Cup more than the Carling Cup. So the FA Cup is normally more harder to win. I know that Palace kind of pulled a little bit of an upset last year, but that's generally the exception to the rule. The League Cup's meant to be the easier one, but if you look at the League Cup winners, like you've said, it's mostly been the big boys over the last 5 to 10 seasons. Yeah. Liverpool, City, Newcastle, all big clubs.
Yeah, I mean, look, out of the two, give me the FA Cup any day of the week. Do you know what I mean? Because I grew up with us winning the FA Cup. Now, if you look at the FA Cup finals, Tequila, right? The winners, if I can find it. I did, where is it now? Okay, yeah. The winners, since we last won it in 1991. What you giggling about? I've got to see now.
No. I was sniffling there, mate. I've still got a bit of sniffling.
Right. No. We last won the FA Cup in 1991. We beat Nottingham Forest, right? The teams that have won it since then have been Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United a couple of times, Everton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea have won it a few times. Liverpool won it a few times. Arsenal have won it more times than I can remember. Portsmouth, Wigan Athletic, Leicester City, and Crystal Palace. The rest of the teams, if you grab them teams out, right, the rest of the teams that won it have been Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. That's the teams that have won the FA Cup since 1991, since we last won it, and Liverpool. Oh, sorry, and Everton as well. So if you grab Everton out of that, Portsmouth, Wigan, and Crystal Palace, I mean, there's been a couple of Manchester derbies as well. 2 years running, we had Manchester derbies. So, you know, if you look at the teams that have got to the final as well, Sheffield Wednesday got to the final in 93. Middlesbrough got it in 97, got there. Southampton in 2003. Millwall got to the FA Cup final in 2004. West Ham in 2006. Cardiff City, 2008. Everton in 2009. Portsmouth as well got to it 2 FA Cup finals since we've last won it. Stoke City, Hull City. Do you know how, and Watford as well, how come we've done so badly in the FA Cup?
I don't think there's any one reason, Dermo. I don't think, you know, you can analyze it and it's just like, you know, as well as I do, that when it comes to cup competitions, there's so much is luck of the draw. Have we been unlucky in our draws? Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, you know, it depends. It does depend who you draw, not only who you draw, but when you draw them. If you can draw Liverpool away, if you can get that in the third round, and that's it, most likely you'll probably go out more often than not.
Yeah.
But if you get lucky and then you get a whole bunch of home ties as well, it's just it's the RNG, it's the randomness. Demo. I don't think there's any way generally to analyze it. Or the only thing you can analyze it is how the managers have prioritized it. And you can look back and say, did we prioritize the FA Cup ever? No, I don't think we did. I think we prioritized the League Cup back in the day before we kind of got a bit of momentum. I think the League Cup was Levy's kind of golden thing to start with. And then once we started getting into the Champions League on a semi-regular basis, I think we focused on the league. I don't think we focused on either of the cups. So
I mean, you look at the 80s, right? We were in 4 FA Cup finals in a 10-year period. 81, 82, 87, and 91. So you look at between 81 and 91 in a 10-year period, Tottenham Hotspur reached 4 FA Cup finals. They reached 3 in the 80s and then 1 at the start of the decade in the 90s. And then after that, we've reached many a semi-final, but we just cannot reach that final. And this is our longest period, Tequila. I think apart from 1921, when we won the FA Cup, and then we didn't win it again to 1961 when we won the double. So don't forget, there was also a Second World War between them, that time period as well. So you're looking at 21, say, out for the war, so he didn't come back for the war until 47. 47. You know, you're looking at a 20-30 year period where we didn't reach another FA Cup final, and then from 61 it was another 67. We reached 3 FA Cup finals in the 60s and 3 FA Cup finals in the 80s. You know, but we won 2 League Cups in UEFA Cup at the start of the 70s. So from 1951 to 1991, Tottenham Hotspur won a major trophies, won more than one major trophy in every decade. And then from 2008, that was the last decade we actually won a trophy consecutively. So from 51 to 2008, we won a trophy in every decade. I mean, and then it stopped. And then 17 years without a trophy. The FA Cup means a hell of a lot to me. And I want to win an FA Cup.
Yeah, but so does I know, but I mean, Con makes a this comment in particular. Let me bring it up. Yeah. I don't know. In defence, right? I'll only speak for myself. Dermo will have his own answer, I'm sure. I'd never ever thought that we were as big as Man City, Man United. I think Newcastle. I would argue with that. I would argue with Newcastle. But I think most of the winners of the League Cup, I would say, no, we're not as big as we know we're not as big as United. You could argue we're a bigger club than City, at least in our original fan base. But yes, of course, they've eclipsed. Of course, they have. So, to my answer would be, I don't think Spurs are as big as those clubs. Newcastle might be the only one I'd argue with over the recent winners. What about you, Dermo? Do you on Com's point there?
I think we are a big club. All fans think their clubs are big. And we all think, look, they're not as big as Manchester United. They're probably one of the biggest clubs in the world. So are Liverpool. So you're never going to compete with them on what they've won over the years. They've been more successful than us. And yes, does it hurt? Hell yeah, does it hurt? But you can't say they haven't been. They have been. They've won more league titles than us. They've won more European trophies than us. So, it goes there. But Tottenham Hotspur were the king. In 1991, when we last won the FA Cup, we won the FA Cup more than anybody did, than anyone in the league. Since then, Arsenal, I think, are top now with 14 wins. We're still stuck at 8. But nobody can take away from our club that between 1951 to 2008, we won a trophy in every decade. Not even Manchester United could do that. Manchester United didn't even do that. So when it comes to domestic trophies, I think Tottenham are a bigger club for winning domestic trophies than most teams in the Premier League. Now, when it comes to winning leagues and winning the big trophies, we're nowhere near. We're still a big club, but we're not a successful club at the likes of Manchester United and the likes of Man City or Arsenal, who've won on to win major European trophies. Well, mostly Man City and Manchester United. But for winning domestic trophies, Tottenham Hotspur between 1951 to 2008 were successful in winning domestic trophies. And Tottenham have always been known as a cup side. We've always been known as a cup side. But when it comes to winning, we've only won 2 league championships in our history, 1951 and 1961. So when it comes to winning league and the big trophies, we're nowhere near as good as successful as the likes of Liverpool or Manchester United. When it comes to winning domestic trophies, we were the first side to do the domestic double last century. And not even the great Liverpool or Manchester United were the first to do that. We were. We won the FA Cup as a non-league side. No other team's done that. No other team has won the FA Cup as a non-league side. Tottenham Hotspur are the only side to do that. So we come with a lot of history when it comes to the FA Cup, especially the FA Cup. We that's been our cup, and we haven't been either, Tequila, as you put it, prioritized it. You're right, we haven't, and we should have done. I want another trip to Wembley. We don't get many trips to Wembley. Manchester United have.
But when I say we prioritize it, right, you got to remember, right? Yeah. Levy, it was a way, it was a route into Europe, right? And the Carling Cup is an easier route. You got to remember, maybe what they should do, is maybe the FA Cup. If they want to bring prestige back to the FA Cup, Dermo, you give that Champions League place to the FA Cup winners. But as of right now,
I think they should do. I agree with you.
They've made a change though. See, they have now made a change. But it used to be, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But the League Cup now goes into the Conference League. It used to go into the Europa. Am I right or wrong?
I think it does, and I think the FA Cup goes into the Europa.
Yes, but that's new. But it used to be back when we used to take it more. When we were, but that was the best we could really hope for. It was a way into the Europa League, obviously the secondary league, but still a secondary league. Now it's the conference, so maybe we won't value it as much because most fans don't want to be in the Conference League. They see it as a burden. But it used to. My point is that it used to have equal footing when it comes to qualifying for Europe, and I think that's what Levy and Enoch cared about. They wanted to get into Europe. Of course, they wanted the Champions League, but at the very least, they wanted to be in Europe, and that was an easy way to get us into Europe. Because back then, it was probably more realistic for us to win the League Cup than to finish in the top 5 or top 6. Eventually, we broke that hoodoo, but I'm talking about the first 10 years or so under Enoch, right? I'm talking about the 2000s to 2010 kind of era, right? That's why we took the Carling Cup seriously, Dermo, is because I thought I think it was the easiest route that Levy and Enoch saw to get us into Europe. It was the easiest route.
I just think, look, if you look at Colin, what he's put in here, look, Tottenham, Look, Manchester United. No disrespect, Colin, but Manchester United are a bigger club. When it comes to winning major trophies, you've always been the bigger club because you've won more league titles. And in the 50s, you won 3 league championships and 1 FA Cup and just bought 50s and Community Shields. Tottenham have always been a cup side. We've always been a cup side, but you can't take away from us. First team to win it as a non-league side back in 1901. We were the first side to win a European trophy in 1963. We were the first team to win the double back in 1961. We were the first British side to win back-to-back European titles, the Cup Winners' Cup and UEFA Cup, back in 1963 and 1972. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham Hotspur has as much global history and such a great history as any other club in the UK. We are a massive club. We're as big as any other club. Yes, if you look at Manchester United, you look at Liverpool, maybe financially, maybe they're the biggest around the world when it comes to fans in other countries. But nobody can tell me Tottenham Hotspur are not a big club. We are a big club, but we're being a big club in different ways.
But do you
I have
think?
an awful lot.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry. No, go on and finish up.
I was just going to say, I have an awful lot. I have more respect for Manchester United than I do Liverpool when it comes to clubs, because I think if you look back at the Busby Babes and you look at the Munich air crash, how Manchester United at the time dignified themselves and how they've never forgot that day. They always used that. Alex Ferguson always used that as his point. If anybody came to the club, this is where you come from. This is the foundations we built Manchester United on. And I think he was right to do that. You look at Liverpool, yes, you had a couple of disasters with Hillsborough and Heysel, and you can think whatever you want on that. But if you look at Liverpool, you look at Manchester United, you look at Tottenham Hotspur, you even look at Arsenal, and I hate saying it, but you look at Arsenal, they've all got tradition. They've all got brilliant histories. Can you say the same about Chelsea? Can you say the same about Manchester City? You can't, because that history's been bought. We didn't buy our history. Manchester United didn't buy their history. Liverpool didn't. Liverpool didn't buy their history. Do you know what I mean? It's history is made by fans and what they went through as a club. And you look at Chelsea and you look at Manchester City, they bought their history. And why the hell, I'll take this down actually when I'm on a rant, why the hell have the Premier League not done Manchester City yet? It's absolutely non-forgivable they've taken this long, Tequila.
Do you think?
Sorry for the rant.
Okay. Do you think? Try to go back to the point I was trying to make ages ago.
Sorry.
Do you think then? Because I don't. Right. I don't see Spurs as the top club. I think they're second tier. That doesn't mean they're bad. I have several tiers in my mind. Second tier is still bloody good because there's loads and loads of tiers. Yeah. But I do not class them in the same bracket as a Liverpool and a Man United. Or probably an Arsenal, though Arsenal are much closer to us than I think. I think United. I think in England anyway. Let's just talk about just England. In England, I think Liverpool and United are kind of on their own. Then there's a gap.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would say Tottenham and Arsenal are in that second tier. Yes. Would you agree?
I think Arsenal are ahead of us just because of the last 30 years. They've had a lot more success, but I wouldn't say that they are behind. I mean, so I've got Liverpool and United, who in my mind are kind of neck and neck, very, very much neck and neck in my mind. Then you've got a gap. Then you've got Arsenal. Then a little bit of a gap, but nowhere near as big. And then you're talking about teams like Spurs. And I do agree with people in the chat. Chelsea are a successful club, if not a big club. Man City are a successful club, if not a big club. And there's differences there. There's difference. They are successful. I know you might not like how they got the success, but they are successful. Just like
I have no respect Blackburn as well. Manchester City at all. I have no success.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't really respect how they did it either, but you can't say they weren't successful, whether you like it or not. They have been. Yeah, they bought it, but then again, so did Blackburn. So did Blackburn.
Okay. Let me ask you a question then, Tequila. You look at the likes of Blackburn, right? They were the first team to do it 94, 95 under Jack Walker to win it by a league, basically, to buy a league championship, which was always aimed at them, wasn't it? Back in the day, it was always aimed at them. But you look at the Man City thing, right? And you look at the Chelsea thing. And you look at the way, as much as we hate Daniel Levy running a club, and I'm sure Colin will look back at the Martin Edwards day at Manchester United, football clubs was always the centre of a community, right? It was always the fans that kept the football club going. Chelsea, for me, they didn't buy the league; they literally ruined the league. And Man City have done the same. They polluted it. And football, where football was, when football clubs were part of a community, part of a part of the area, they're not now because of Chelsea and Man City. Because they polluted the Premier League. They polluted it with their corruption. They polluted it with the way they went about, they did their business. You know, and I think there's a way of doing it, and there's not a way of doing it. Blackburn, I didn't have a problem the way they did it, Tequila, back in the day, because I think Jack Walker was a.
But what's the difference, though? I know he was a local businessman. That is the difference. But it's the same. The thing is still the same. It's still buying the title, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, he did it for the love of his club. He did it for the love of his community, right? Manchester City couldn't give a damn shit about Manchester or Manchester City. They will pull out tomorrow. Where will Man City and Chelsea be tomorrow if Todd Bowley and his clowns pulled out of Chelsea and the clowns that run Man City pulled out of Man City?
Well,
where would that club be?
Okay, but people said the same thing about Chelsea when Abramovich. Where would they be without Abramovich? And then another billionaire took over. So what my answer would be is that someone will come in, most likely, and take over, and that probably applies to City as well. Yeah. Don't ask me who, and it might not be state owned, but it will be some rich person who will come in and buy them. That will be the answer. They're not. I know people think that if the Saudis or whoever pull out of City or Chelsea, that they're just going to become second division again. It won't happen. Not right away. It could happen over
unless they get demoted.
Well, that's different, but it's not going to happen overnight or in a season or two. It might take several seasons, but someone's going to come in because whether you like it or not, City and Chelsea are both very valuable assets, as proven when Abramovich was forced out. Everybody was fearing for Chelsea, and it's just like, actually, granted, they haven't hit the same heights under Bowley as they have under Abramovich, and they may never, because I'm not sure they're ever going to probably push that next level again. I've my doubts.
I don't think they are.
But they're certainly not ruined as a club. They're in the top four. They're going to be fighting for the top four probably this year. They're there or thereabouts. So my point is Chelsea aren't going to just go away, and neither is City, much as we maybe wish they would. They're not.
I just want... Look, somebody said it to me today. Are we now... Do you know how people are playing at the moment, how the games are, Tequila, with the long throws, and games have been won more by set pieces than ever? And I was watching TalkSport tonight, and somebody said on TalkSport, we're now watching a hybrid of 1980s football. And I totally agree with that. I was watching that game on Sunday. It was like watching a game in the 80s. And at the moment, I just think football is turning on its head completely. I just find it very bizarre that we've gone from free-flowing football.
I don't like it, Demo. I'll be honest.
That's the question I was going to ask.
Yeah,
do you like it?
No. I can't control it any more than you can. And football will evolve. And if it is going to be this way for a season or two, I hope it's not going to be longer. But then something else will come along. Some new formation will come along. Someone will invent something. And then everyone will have to adapt accordingly. The 4-4-4's more or less died out. And now everyone plays more or less a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Most of the teams play that. So, stuff like that will evolve, Dermo. But I can't say it makes for...
entertaining football.
If Arsenal end up winning the league, which is probably how I think it's going to go down, they're going to do it playing very negatively.
Yeah,
that's not a good advertisement in my mind. In my mind, it's not a good advertisement.
It's not. And look, I remember I used to love the 80s football, but the 80s football was physical. You can't be physical now.
Not like that.
It's not a contact sport anymore.
No.
I want to say big up to 11. Is it 11 Cassius? Am I?
Yes.
Big up. You're our member, so big up to you, sir. Says, all right, fellas. Big up to you, Cassius. How you doing, well? Kind of disagree. Okay. We don't mind disagreeing this channel, do we, Tequila? We like a good.
Long as you're, no. As long as you're not rude, we don't care if you disagree.
Yeah. the bottom comment he's put in, I totally agree with, and I will give a reason why, because it's a very good point. Kind of disagree. Money always wins. Blackburn did it. United did it in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, come in. Please respond.
He's right.
Out,
I can't disagree with
He
anything
is
you
right.
said.
I know he's
Yeah.
right. Outspent everyone. Christ, they spent 30 million on Rian Ferdinand, who
You say
couldn't turn
sorry?
up for a drugs test. In the 90s. Do you remember that? He missed the
Yep,
drugs
yep.
test, 3 drugs tests. Do you remember?
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember when one of my favourite Spurs players ever, but Dimitar Berbatov, we sold him on deadline day for 30 million back then.
Yeah.
But do you know how much Berbatov would go for nowadays, Dermo? My God.
Fuck me, 150, 200 million.
If Isaac's worth 120 million, I think Berbatov was a better player than Isaac. So there we are.
Yeah. Gerard's asking Dermo and Tequila. We need to be the new crazy gang. I wouldn't mind that actually.
Should we go find Dennis? We go find Dennis Wyve and what Joe Kinnear, wasn't
Vinnie
it?
Jones.
Vinnie Jones, Joe Kinnear, Dennis Wise.
Played for Tottenham back in the day.
Yes, sir,
He
I
was
did know that.
Tottenham's
Yeah.
left back. Yeah, Joe Kinnear.
Was he any good?
No longer.
Was he any good, Dermo?
He was. He won an FA Cup with us and a League Cup with us. I'm no longer with us. Bless him. Passed away a couple of years ago, I think. Joe Kinnear. But yeah, famous manager of Wimbledon. Get us. I agree with that. I think we need to be the new crazy gang. We need the Dennis Wise and we've got Romero as Vinnie Jones. He can go and Dennis. I used to hate Dennis Wise.
Is it because he ended up at Chelsea and he was wind up? He was a wind up merchant, wasn't he? He was
a wind up merchant.
Who was there you go, Derma? Who was a bigger wind up merchant? Here's a tough one for you, and everyone in the chat as well. Dennis Wise or Robbie Savage?
Well,
those two are the two that come to mind. The little bastard. I'm sorry, they were little bastards on purpose.
Did Robbie Savage get Justin Edinburgh sent off in the League Cup final?
He got loads of but he got loads of people sent off. The little
Giant says this is crazy enough on his own.
That's true. Yeah,
so true. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to think about that. Let me have a think about that, Tequila. We'll come back to that.
It might be Robbie Savage, you know. I might dislike Wise more because of his Chelsea connections, but boy, did Robbie Savage infuriate me every time.
I'm thinking Dennis Wise, but why does Robbie Savage? Yeah,
he had it's because of his face. He had this little kind of cheeky look on his face because he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he did it in '99 in the League Cup final. He deliberately got Justin Edinburgh, and we won the League Cup, so that shoved it up Robbie Savage's backside. Liverpool in the 70s and 80s raided domestic leagues with more money too. Liverpool did it right in the 70s and 80s. Always bought 1 or 2 players at the start of every season. They never went mad on buying players, but they always buy 1 and 2. Look, they bought Kenny Dalglish from Scotland. Graham Souness, I think they bought him from Middlesbrough, who started at Tottenham, by the way, Graham Souness.
Yeah.
They bought Ronnie, I think they bought John Aldridge from Oxford. Ray Houghton from Oxford as well. They always bought these little gems, and they always promote within Liverpool. They were. I mean, when Man United was struggling, Liverpool really were on top. Wimbledon won the FA Cup. They did in '88. The Crazy Gang beat Liverpool 1-0, if I remember. Colin says, "Bring back '90s football where tackles flew." I don't know what I would love that, Colin.
Yeah.
I would too. I would too. He's right. Money has always won the league. I said earlier in the chat, it has happened before Chelsea and City. They just made it worse. They did. Big up to Joe.
They took it to another level, Colin. Blackburn flashed the cash. They had flash money, but then City and Chelsea have taken it to absurd levels.
Let's get back to a bit of the news, Tequila. This one we won't spend too much on because I know what answer's going to be. Can I just say
it depends how deep you want to get into this one. I don't know.
I'm just going to say quickly, no way. Can I just finish it there? Just no.
I will say this: he was. The verdict was that he was innocent. That's all I can say.
Going down that route.
That's all I'm going to say. Is the verdict is that he was innocent, and you have to go with that. But do I even want to entertain the idea? If he was an incredible footballer, then maybe. But he's not okay. He's not a bad player, Dermo. But I don't think I want to touch it. That
Real Madrid player wants to leave Real Madrid, by the way.
Which one?
Their number 7.
You don't mean Camavinga? You don't mean Camavinga, do you?
No.
French lad?
No, what's his name? Is it Raul or no? It's not Raul. I forget his name. He's number 7 for Real Madrid. Maybe somebody in the chat might put it in for me.
Have to have a look.
Jimmy Ballard.
Yeah, he was a little. Yeah, he was.
He was a little some of that.
He
As a
was
player,
as well. Yeah.
as a player, he's amazing. As a person, questionable. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Is Greenwood any better than what? That's a fair
Yes.
point. I
Yeah.
don't think he is.
He probably is in the position he plays, Giant.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he's significant. He's better, but is the hassle or the potential hassle worth it?
Well,
I don't
look
think
what
it
we've
is.
went through with Basuma. Is it really worth another hassle? Like,
Well, you got to remember, even though he was proven, as I said, I'm not going to get into the charges really, but even though he was proven innocent, you do notice that he decided to move away from England for a reason, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason
And I
why he
don't
decided
think-
to get out of the limelight.
Look, and also, I don't feel that the English media helps either. By the way,
And that's what I mean. If he came back
That's
to
it.
England, that they would probe and dig and and don't get started on the fans. Do you see what I mean? You know what fans are going. You know what away fans will be like. You know this kind of chance. You know.
I go back to when I was the idealist, right? When Argentina invaded Falklands, right, and England sent their army to defend the Falklands, right. Aussie idealists used to get absolute pelters from the away fans because of, and there was the Tottenham fans defending them. The away fans would have their say in it. But after the Falklands, Aussie idealists would go to every away ground and they would get a standing ovation from all 4 corners of the ground. Because somebody said to him, "Why did you come back to English football?" Because I didn't want to think they drove me out. I came back to prove a point. I'm a footballer. I'm not a politician. I'm nothing to do with the military. I'm just a footballer. I wanted to play the game. And he came back and he earned everyone's respect in the UK for what he did. And look, I feel sorry for Ozzy. Ozzy missed out on another FA Cup. He could have won his second successive FA Cup final. Him and Ricky didn't get a second FA Cup winners' medals in '82. But I do feel that Greenwood, for me, though he's been proven not guilty, I just think he's too much hassle for the club. Don't go near him, please.
Yeah.
And it could be a load of shite too. This could be made up. All these what we're saying, they're all rumours before they're proven right. By the way, Tottenham are keeping tabs on Aston Villa defender Izere Kossiner. I've totally just pulled that name.
It's Konza, isn't it? Konza.
Yeah, Koza or Kona or Kaza. With the 28-year-old also tracked by Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United. Column, come on, get your thoughts on this. Would you take him?
I didn't realize he was that old. I thought he was
Neither
younger
did I, actually. Over the past 12 months, there's some interest abroad as well, with Italian giants Inter Milan and Napoli watching the Englishman along with RB Leipzig. I think we're okay for defenders. I don't think we need to upgrade. If we are to upgrade one, probably Dragoson. But would he want to come to Tottenham and be
No,
a squad player?
yeah, no, he's going to want to start most weeks, and I think we're okay when it comes to if he comes in, he's probably whoever comes in. If we're after defender, it's most likely to be a 4th choice because you got to think it's Van der Ven and Romero, the first 2. Danzo's the backup, I guess, for both of them, kind of, and you could say there's room for one more. But someone like Konza, especially, that's what I mean. I didn't realize he's in the prime of his career. He ain't going to come to sit on the bench of Spurs. Not being funny.
Yeah, Column says different time society now. I tell you one thing about then, Column.
Yeah.
I tell you one. I give you a little story, right? This is going back to the 80s, and look, my parents were Irish, right? And growing up in an Irish household wasn't easy living in England back in them days because of what was happening up the north. And my mum was from the north. She was from Northern Ireland, and the amount of stick that we used to get from people saying go back to your own country and I used to get potatoes thrown at me when I was younger for some reason. I used to go and collect them, bring them home. Man, we got more potatoes.
There you go.
did.
They paid for your food, Dermo.
Yeah, I did. I went down, man, we got more, because it was linked back to the famine. And me and Philip would talk on our political channel. We'll talk about the famine back in the 1800s, but the famine's another story altogether. Anyway, so my man went into a butcher's. Now, she's gone into this butcher's times out of times, probably the last 10 years of her life living in where we're living in London, right? Not a problem. This day he refused to sell her any meat because she was from Northern Ireland. Now, I know you're saying different times society is society now. I get that, Colin. But there's always going to be a majority. Why I'm saying this, the idea of the story is, and it goes to the little bit more in your comment, is there's always idiots out there who just don't see what they're saying is wrong and what they do is wrong. So, do you think for his sake, Tequila, he should stay where he is and do not come back to England? Because the press in England, there is idiots that work in the press, and there is idiots that go on to football stands these days, Tequila, rightly or wrongly, will be absolutely ridiculous in what they say. And if the FA and the Premier League are so trying to drive racism out of football, then how come they haven't done it yet? Do you know my point?
Well,
you get my point, though.
Without turning this too much into the whole society issue, I don't know. What is it you expect that? I'm curious, right? What is it you expect these footballing governing bodies to? How can they force racism out when it's a cultural problem and they can say as much as they want, but it's up to the individual people themselves to make their own decisions about if they're racist or not? My point is that how much power how much control can they really have? Yes, they can say the message, everyone can take a knee and do all these things, and that's fine. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, but in the end, it's going to come down to the individual people themselves and why they are racist. Racism comes, as you know, Dermo, a lot of it is your culture, where you come from, a lot of it is your upbringing, a lot of it is your parents. And whether you like it or not, and I'm not slacking anyone off, but I'm just saying, right? So it's a societal problem, and I don't know what people generally expect that the FA and stuff, what can they do? They can say don't be racist 100 times, but you go to the football stadiums, Dermo. We've all gone to football stadiums. We know the chants that we hear, and don't say it's only one set of fans. It's every set of fans. They all do it.
It is. And look, I think, look, you see them taking the knee, and you see them. I can see a lot, but fans are fans, and if it's not racism, they're going to chant for what he did, what he was accused of doing. Do you know what I mean? And it's wrong. But I don't want that hassle at our club, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, it comes right. It isn't. No, with Greenwood in particular, no, that's not about racism. 100%. No, we all know what that's about, and and that's a worse crime in my opinion than racism. So that's even a further one. This is what I mean by, and Dermo's right. He should either stay where he is or stay abroad. Obviously, he must be doing quite well. So keep doing what he's doing. Unless he really feels like he has to return to England because he personally wants to live there, then I guess so be it. But for his career, Dermo, you don't need to come back to England, mate. No, if he wants to change the scenery, he can go to Italy. No. Go to Italy.
I stay where I think society everywhere has changed. I mean, society changed around the world, but I think football, people are allowed to go into football stands and say what they want, but I think football fans also, what anybody's saying, if anything, should be policed by football fans themselves. Don't you agree? That if they see something, go and tell a steward, mention it to a steward. This person's saying this. It's not fair. I'm there with my children, or I'm there with my wife, or I'm there with my dad. It's not on. People should do, but people are too scared to do that as well.
Yeah, they are scared because they're scared if they leave the arena with their kid that these people, especially if they're intoxicated, Dermo, might come at them. And we know it can happen. It's not like we're making stuff up. We know it can happen. I understand. I haven't got generally an answer for you, Dermo, but I just know that
I don't think nobody has an
fix
answer.
It.
Yeah, I don't think nobody has an answer. Look, football is the beautiful game. Football is the people's game. But football in itself as well can be an ugly place to be as well. If you're a player and you're facing that sort of abuse, right? Rightly or wrongly. It's still not fair on the player, though, is it? But it's still not fair for people around. If you're there at the stand, right, you and me are Tottenham, right, and we've got a fella next to us slagging off, say, whatever player, right, and he's using such words you me, wouldn't dream of using. What's the first thing you and me going to do? Tell him to fucking shut up.
I remember, Dermo, right, and this is even. I'm going to defend Ange Postecoglou. Don't break your set. Yes, right.
What? Pardon? Hang on. Sorry, hang on. Hang on. I've got to do something. Hang on.
Oh, there you
Now,
go. I'm on.
yeah, hang on. I want to do this. I want to put you on the big screen.
Oh, it's just a black screen. Don't worry. All I'm going to say is this, right? I'm not even really defending him, but I will defend what happened to him. I remember seeing those videos, Dermo. I remember saying it to you when it happened. I can't even remember the game. We lost so many games last year. I can't even remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But he was getting harassed by our own fans, and he's being called names like fat and stuff like that. And yes, you can say, oh, there's a lot worse things to call him. Yeah, but I took objection to that because you were not criticizing the man for his football. Right, you were criticizing the man because of his physical appearance, and it was nasty, Dermo. And that is what I'm talking about. And that's a recent thing that I saw of my own, because I haven't been to a live football match in a couple of years because of my medical condition. I won't bore you guys with it. So I haven't been in a while, granted. But when I heard that, Dermo, I felt bad for Ange. I did, because it's just like, you know what? Because he is still a human, right? So don't slag him off for stuff like that. And I just thought, if he gets that, and that's our own fans who are doing that to him. Imagine
can I just say, Tequila, that is the first time I've ever heard you stick up for Ange Postecoglou. I had to put on your big screen for that.
To be fair, I would stick up for more or less anyone who was being targeted like that.
I know you would,
but yeah, he didn't deserve that. By all means, say to him, mate, you're clueless. You don't know what you're doing, but that's fine. That's fair game to me. But don't start saying, you know, you're these things and your things like that. And it was nasty, and I can see why Ange maybe didn't exactly fall in love with the Tottenham fan base. If I had that, I wouldn't be too happy with them either after that. That's all I will say.
I think we have problems with the people who are within our own fan base.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. Look, another last bit of Spurs news for good on to me.
Can I just bring up what Gerard says here? That's not acceptable either, Gerard. If you think if you think that even me or Dermo think that that's fair, it's not. Like, yeah, that's out of order. When Spurs fans have been called that, and we know why. We know why they're called that. That's out of order as well. And I remember hearing that when I was in school, before I became really a Spurs fan. There were other kids who were Spurs fans, and I remember seeing them being called it. And we're going back 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's been around a long time.
I don't sing that at the stadiums, by the way, when I go. I don't sing it. I refuse to sing it because I don't think it's right. I really don't. But look, look, we sort of opened a can of worms, but we've got a good concept from the chat tonight about it, Tequila, to be fair, on that Greenwood. I didn't think we'd get that.
No, I just wanted to make sure that what Gerard says is that don't think that anyone thinks of that's acceptable either, Gerard, because none of us, well, at least I don't. I'll speak for myself.
You know,
that's not acceptable either.
I like our people to come into our channel because they're very diverse, aren't they? They like a good conversation, don't they? If there's a good conversation, they will get involved in it, and they will do that. So big up to the people in the chat. Well done, guys. You know, you're a credit to our channel. Like you, I like that. I like it when they get involved. Last bit before we get on to the Celtic news that broke last night, just after we finished our show last night. Juventus will make Dusan Vlahovic available for just 20 million in January, with Tottenham showing an interest. Fabio Paratici is an admirer of the striker, and the deal is understood to be appealing to Spurs. Yay or nay for you, Tequila?
Difficult one. Considering our other options, for 20 million, I think it's worth the risk. Yeah. But is he the same player that he was when he was lighting up Serie A at Fiorentina, I believe? He
hasn't scored since September the 16th.
So what's happened to him?
Well, their manager's been sacked too. The Juventus manager's just been sacked.
Yes. Yeah, but was he lighting up? So generally, has he been regarded? He was very successful at Fiorentina, but has he been regarded as a failure? I'm going to assume that he has been at Juventus. So I'm just wondering if something's changed with the mindset, the why, you know, maybe not. Maybe he's still maybe he's still a great player and he just needs a new coat of paint. Maybe that's maybe. For 20 million, for 20 million, though, Dermo. I think because of our current situation, if we had better strikers, maybe I'd say it's not worth the risk. But when you see what we've got, let's do it for 20 million.
Yeah, I mean, 20 million. He's out of contract in the summer, so 20 million now.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it. As we come off last night, of course, Brendan Rodgers resigned as Celtic manager. Tequila can continue laughing at Scottish football as it continues to make a holy mockery of itself.
Dermo, the funny thing is that I saw Talksport in the morning with Martin O'Neill talking about how Hearts are probably going to win and how Celtic are in trouble. And then 10 hours later, the man's the new Celtic interim manager. I think that's amazing.
He's 73, you know.
I know, and that's why it's going to be short. He's going with there's another person he's going with him, isn't it? To kind of do the day-to-day stuff.
Well, Dermot Desmond, who's a major shareholder of Celtic, put out a statement last night. Now, you think the start of this is brilliant. You know, I want to acknowledge Brendan's contribution across 2 spells as manager, during which he's helped deliver success that forms part of the club's modern history. Desmond wrote, however, I must also express my deep disappointment at the way the past several months have unfolded. When we brought him back to Celtic 2 years ago, it was done with complete trust and belief in his ability to lead the club into a new era of sustained success. Unfortunately, he's conducted a communication in recent months have not reflected that trust. Hang on, it goes on. It's not over yet, Nagina. It isn't. In June, both Michael Nicholson and I expressed to Brendan that we were keen to offer him a contract extension to reaffirm the club's full backing and long-term commitment to him. You're doing the same thing Simon Jordan did, by the way. That's why I'm giggling. He said he would need to think about it and revert. Yet, in subsequent press conferences, Brendan opined that the club had made no commitment to offer him a contract. That is simply untrue. We've met with Brendan regularly, including in December last year at the start of the summer, with regular dialogue in between discuss and agree our collective strategy, priorities and approach. Every player signed, every player sold during his tenure was done with so Brendan's full knowledge, approval and endorsement. Any institution otherwise is absolutely false. It is later in his latest public statement about transfers and the club operations came entirely out of the blue. At no point prior to those remarks had he raised any such concerns with me, Michael, or any other member of the board of the executive team. In reality, he was given final say over football matters and was constantly backed in recruitment process, including records investment in players he personally identified and approved. When his comments were made public, I sought to address them directly. Brendan and I met for over 3 hours at his home in Scotland to discuss the issues. Despite ample opportunities, he was unable, Tequila, and I mean unable, to identify a single instance where the club have not obstructed or failed to support him. The facts did not match his public narrative. Hang on, the best bit's coming. This is the best bit. Regrettably, his words of action since have been decisive, misleading, and self-serving. They have computed to a toxic atmosphere around the club and fueled hostility towards members of the executive team and the board. I think this is so funny. Towards the members of the board. Some of the abuse directed at them and their families has been entirely unwarranted and unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Every member of the board and the executive team is deeply passionate about Celtic, acts at all times with professionalism, integrity, and the shared desire for success. What has failed to recently, not due to our structural model, but to one individual's desire for self-presentation at the expense of others. Now, can you imagine Daniel Levy writing that about Jose Mourinho or Conte?
Talking about airing your dirty laundry, I'll tell you.
I know. Oh, big up to Stephen Richardson as well. Big up, Stephen. Hope you're doing well, mate. Jared says, "Why funny, Dermo?" It's not. It's. I tell you why it's funny, Tequila. Right? It's funny because Dermot Desmond is a major shareholder in Celtic Football Club, right? But for him to come out and say something, he's really pissed off. I just find that funny. I'm just imagining Daniel Levy writing out that sort of a comment to Conte or Mourinho leaving. He was giving it straight. And is that what
it's more honest. Well, we'll assume it's honest, right? At least normally they don't go into 3 or 4 pages or whatever that was there, man. Normally it's a quick, short and sweet PR, narrative-driven, small piece That
What?
was pages and pages of almost a tirade, borderline tirade. And obviously, he's a very passionate man. Obviously, him and Brendan had a big falling out. But
Yeah.
ask some Liverpool fans. I know there's none in here at the minute. How they feel about Brendan Rodgers, and they will say a similar thing, that the man was always self-serving, all about himself.
Leicester fans as well.
And Leicester. So he has got a track record, and
Mm.
and it's probably a lot of managers. I'm not saying he's the only one, but he puts himself first, and I think he's always had that reputation, like you say, Leicester fans, Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
So
Brendan Rodgers, for me, right, was the wrong choice to take over from Ange Postecoglou. I just wish Ange would go back to Celtic now. I think they should push the boat out and get Ange back.
the thing is, if he was going to, I think he just would have. Does that make sense? And the fact that he hasn't, and the fact that they've got Martin O'Neill in, even if it's only short term, suggests to me that because Ange is now free, so the stars have all aligned, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have.
So
Really
the fact that they haven't gone for Ange right away maybe suggests that maybe they're not going to, but they would fit.
Yeah,
and he did well there, and the fans
did.
would be happy. I think that probably is his level. He had crazy success domestically over there. He won't win you anything in Europe, Dermo, but the Celtic, I don't know how much Celtic fans care about winning stuff in Europe, but
no, we do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
we've only won one European Cup back in 1968, and we beat Real Madrid 1-0.
Well, I mean, he managed to win the Europa with obviously us, but they've obviously Celtic. But Celtic have got a much weaker squad than Spurs did. So I mean, it's a tall ask to really ask probably any manager to win anything in Europe.
Look, in Celtic, right, to start the season, your aim is to beat Rangers at everything. That's your aim.
Yeah.
To win the treble, to beat Rangers at everything. Do well in Europe, that's an added bonus. But Celtic are wider when Brendan Rodgers came back in there. I said to Philip Brady at the time, I have not watched Celtic since because Brendan Rodgers was manager. I refuse to watch Celtic.
He's a bit dull, isn't it? I think he's quite dull.
Yeah. So. And you went from watching Ange football, and then Ange football came to Tottenham. It didn't work out at Tottenham, but I want him back at Celtic now because I want him pinging back the players that were at Celtic. Russell Martin for Celtic. I think for Tequila, that
would be amazing. Could you imagine can you imagine the reaction of the Celtic fans? That'd be funny.
Well, the ex-Rangers, no, Gerard, you're just stirring the pot now. He says it's about time the chairman get it right. Simon Jordan said it this morning on their morning show with Jim White. He was in Spain and he rang in. He laughed when he read that statement, but he said fair play to him for coming out with it. Like you were giggling away like a little schoolboy.
It's just because he's painting a picture. He's going into quite a lot of detail, and I imagine him going around to Brendan Rodgers' house, right, in Scotland, because for some reason he needed to point out that he lived in Scotland as well. Like I say, he went into a lot of detail. I picture him going around there, and Brendan just refusing to acknowledge anything. To be a fly on the wall, Dermo.
Yeah, it's the last bit, the killer of that, right? Desire for self-preservation. I mean, that is. I'm gonna
that's
love
great.
Martin.
That's great.
Brendan Rodgers' response to that. Now, if he's been paid off, he won't say anything. If it hasn't been paid off, can you imagine the response he's going to give that?
What's the thing they got to sign? A lot of times it's like a non-slander or something, isn't it? That they have to sign if they. Do you
know what they called the team the weekend? He called, and maybe Gerard can help me here. He called them a Ford Escort. We lost the Hearts the weekend. He called them a Ford Escort team. He's been moaning for the last 3-4 weeks. I haven't got the players in the club. Celtic have got lots of money in the bank, and do you know what? The way he's been talking about Celtic, the way he's been talking about the board, the way he's been talking about the players, I don't think many people at Celtic will want to see him back at Parkhead again.
No,
I hope he never goes back there again. He's a bloody disaster.
Oh, I'll tell you what this does do, though. I mean, I will never claim to be a massive fan of Scottish football, but I'm intrigued for this season now because I want to see some. Yeah. I know that you're a Celtic fan, so you can't really agree with me, but I would love to see like Hearts or Hibs. It's probably going to be Hearts. I would love to see them win it.
You know what? I think deep down, as much as I'm a Celtic fan, I want us to win the league, and we've won the league for the last few years. But I think if another team won the Scottish League, I think it would do the Scottish League a hell of a lot good.
It would.
To be fair,
It would.
it would drive so much interest.
It would break the cartel, as I've kind of called it, right? It would break. Even if it's just for 1 year. Even if it's just for 1 year.
Yeah. Do you know who the last manager was to win the league up there?
Is it at Ferguson, Aberdeen? Was it
Alex Ferguson at Aberdeen?
Yeah.
Was the last, and that was back in the 1985.
And that tells you how. I mean, we know how special Fergie was, and how so you know how good the manager you've got to be to pull that off.
Yeah.
So
I think Hearts are playing well this year. Actually, I think Hearts are playing very well.
This could be the year because Rangers obviously have imploded, and now it looks like Celtic are imploding, but they won't have a better opportunity.
No, that was his comment at the weekend about the Scottish team, the Celtic team. I mean, you're not going to have many players left behind you after that comment, are you? To be fair.
Oh no, he made himself untenable. That's probably why the board decided to go around his house and talk to him. I love the fact they went around his house. They didn't call him in for a meeting. They didn't call him in for a meeting in the boardroom. They went round his house.
It's that bit. We were around his house in Scotland.
Just paid him a visit. Turned up on his doorstep, rang the bell.
Yeah. Oi, what you been saying about us, mate? And it took him 3 hours to do that, by the way. 3 hours.
Do you think 3 hours if Brendan was just sitting there, and then this dude's telling him off, and then Brendan was just sitting there like all meek in his chair, just taking it.
Yeah. Just to give you a bit of update, 80 minutes left in the first two games, and just after the hour in the Welsh derby, Brentford 5-0 up against Grimsby Town.
Looks like Grimsby's dream is over. Con will be very happy. I think
he will. Colin will be ecstatic.
Revenge, Con.
Revenge. 1-1 at the moment between Fulham and Wickham, with 10 minutes left. And then,
come on, Wickham. I like you get upset. Come on, Wickham.
Yeah. And Wrexham 0, Cardiff 0. 1-1, sorry. Cardiff 1, Wrexham 1. Now, tomorrow, and what score predictions for finish off for tomorrow's games, Tequila? So, and you also get in the chat as well. We are doing a live watch along. We will give you updates at half time tomorrow, but we won't give them during the match because I think it takes away from the watch along. By the half time, we will. Arsenal, Brighton, and Hope. Arsenal and Brighton tomorrow. Arsenal at home. Score prediction, Tequila.
Arsenal at home, are they?
Yeah.
Probably like 3-0, I think. Well, 2-0. 2-0 because 2-0. Yeah, 2-0.
I'm going for 1-0 Brighton.
Why? Arsenal are hard to score against right now.
I'm just going for 1-0 Brighton. Right. Swansea City against Man City. Now, this is Man City away at Swansea, by the way.
Is it penalties, isn't it? It's a draw after 90 minutes. I'm going to be cheeky on this one. I think City will go through on penalties.
I agree with you. I think City will go through on penalties.
I think it's going to be 1-1. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
And City go through on penalties.
Newcastle versus Tottenham Hotspur at St James's Park.
I do think we get hammered up there, but that was under a more attacking, pragmatic manager under Frank, and we know that we're playing a lot better away from home than we are at home. So I don't think it will be a hammering. I do think we'll probably still lose, but I think it'll be by an odd goal, so like a 2-1.
I'm going 2-0 Tottenham Hotspur. Okay. Liverpool winless in their last 5 games against Crystal Palace.
I think it'll be 1-0 to Liverpool. I think we'll just about squeak it out.
I'm going for a Palace upset here. I'm going for a Palace 1-0.
Oh, Liverpool still. I know they've had run a couple of bad games, but I still wouldn't want to play them at Anfield, Dermo.
And then Wolverhampton at home to Chelsea.
I think Chelsea will win 2-1. And I think also the Wolves manager might be on his way out. It looks like they could be getting rid of him soon as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll go for a 2-0. Wolves will win. So if we're going up to Scotland, Tequila, just for a giggle, right? Hearts versus St Mirren.
I've got a soft spot for St Mirren because of my FIFA games. But no, Hearts will probably win that 3-0, I'd imagine.
Right. Celtic against Falkirk. This is at Celtic Park. It's Martin O'Neill's first game in charge. So I'm going for a 1-0 win for Hearts, by the way.
I think Celtic, yes, they'll have the new Martin O'Neill. Obviously, is quite liked up there for the work he did in the past with Celtic. So he'll get probably a big hero's response, and I'd imagine the players. Martin O'Neill was always quite a good motivator. So I think that he'll have them up for it. Although he might not want to replay the stuff he's done on TalkSport 8 hours before he got the job. He might not want to show them that. He might make sure they don't play that clip. No, probably a comfortable 2-0 for Celtic, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I go the same. And then Rangers against Aberdeen. Rangers are away, by the way.
I think Rangers are an absolute shambles. I think Aberdeen will win that.
Yeah, Aberdeen for me. Yeah.
2-0.
And then I'm not going to be disrespectful. Dundee United are away to Motherwell are at home to Dundee United. I'm going for a 2-0 Motherwell win.
Is it penalties as well? Same thing on there.
These are the league games.
Oh, sorry, so they're not Scottish Cup games. I think it'd be a draw then, 1-1.
Yeah. But there you go, guys. Look, I've enjoyed tonight. It's been something different, Tequila. It's been we've spread our wings a little bit about Tottenham news.
We've covered Scottish football and everything. So
yeah,
there you go.
Look, I had to tonight with what's happening up in Celtic. I had to have my say in it. Look, to finish off the Celtic part, and then we'll get Tequila to plug his channel. I just want Celtic to go on and win now. To go on and play some good football and bring Ange home. Dermot Desmond, if you're watching, I know you are. I know you love this channel. Bring Big Ange home. Bring him home to Celtic. Bring him home to the boyos. Bring him home.
I want to add to this, Dermo. I'm in agreement with you. I think Ange should go back to Celtic, and he should immediately ask to go and buy Brendan Johnson from Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly. Tequila is Brendan Johnson's agent, by the way, Desmond.
And we'll throw in Richarlison as well for 20 million, maybe.
On that bombshell, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Play Pouch. We've got some
I like the way you say that, by the way. It sounds very French when you say that.
Vivi, yeah. Vavavoom, that's bloody Omri, isn't it? Yeah, it's Omri. Yeah, don't get me started on Omri. Yeah, Play Pouch. Just a bunch of 40-year-old idiots and who is an idiot, but just not 40. Who play some video games. And there's going to be Red Dead Redemption 2 and I think South Park. I think I mentioned that the other night. South Park's coming up soon, which should be quite fun. So, yeah, join us for that when it happens. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, if you can, we're back on tomorrow. I'm on We Are Tottenham TV at 6:30. We're back on tomorrow at 7:45 for the watch along. And then we're on 10:15 for final score, where we will bring in the draw for the quarterfinals of the League Cup. So if Tottenham do get through, we're going to bring you that live. But guys, thank you for watching tonight. It's been a bumper day. Really has been a good day for views today for the channel. Really enjoyed earlier, actually. It was a giggle earlier. Tonight's been a real giggle, especially Tequila's reaction to that Dermot Desmond statement. I mean, I could hear him giggling in the background. Like it was so funny. I just wish we had a statement like that from Levy. That would have been
that would be amazing. Yeah.
But on that bombshell, we'll never know, and we never will know. Tequila, do you want to take us out?
There we go. 8 games, mate. 200k a day, mate. Just who I am, mate.
Ange, come back to Celtic. We need you. Ange's gone quiet.
20 million, mate. Pay off 20 million to 12 months, mate.
Yeah, fine.
To be honest, to be honest, he'd last longer than 12 months. Now go back, Ange. Seriously, mate. Go back. Yeah. Good move for you.
On that bombshell, Tequila's now an Ange fan. Good night.
I am now. Yep.
Eyes on the